Welcome to the Melt Uncut.
We are your hosts. I am Sarah,
And I am Isabella.
and we are coming to you live from my couch, Sarah's beige couch.
Sarah's beige couch. That's a great speakeasy name.
Ooh, the beige couch.
Sarah's beige couch.
Yeah, I like
Right?
it. I like
Right?
it.
Just like a good commune name would be like Sage's commune.
Sage's greenhouse.
Friends of Sage.
Friends of Sage. I just thought of a cute story.
What?
When I was skiing in Idaho, which would have been 2 weeks ago, I did a green run on my own, and when I was at the bottom of the hill, the little kids in ski school needed to go back up on the chairlift,
Mm-hmm.
but there was one instructor and 5 kids, and the instructor needed someone to take up 2 of the kids who was a single rider, and I was a single rider.
Uh-huh.
So I took up 2 kids, and one of their names was Sage.
Aww.
Sage and Ryan, and they were 4.5 and 5, and they were the cutest little kids.
Baby.
They were adorable. They're like, Sarah, like tapping me nonstop. Guess where I live? Guess how old I am?
That's so sweet.
So cute.
I love to see kiddos who are like not afraid to be out of their shell and talk to a random Sarah.
They were so cute. Literally made my day.
Oh,
they were the cutest.
That's so sweet.
But yeah, so we're here at the beige couch.
Yes. And instead of doing one good thing from the week, we're going to switch it up and we are going to do something we're looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple of things, but do you want to start us off?
Sure. So what I am looking forward to is I'll actually probably be on this trip by the time this episode. When is this episode launching? The third?
The third.
The third. I will be in Hawaii.
That's exciting.
So while you're listening to this, I might be sitting on a beach somewhere in Maui or on the Big Island.
Being a bronzed goddess.
Yes. Although probably more of a sunburnt goddess because my skin has not seen powerful sun in quite some months.
Yeah, use that sunscreen.
Yes. You mean Maui, babe?
No, sunscreen. No, use sunscreen.
What if I do a layer of sunscreen and then Maui Babe on top of that? Does that just cancel everything?
No, I don't think so.
What would that do?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Look at me and tell me you're going to use sunscreen and you're going to reapply sunscreen.
Yes, because have you seen how much sunscreen my husband uses?
That's fair.
So we will have sunscreen with us.
I'm going to text him and tell him to make sure to lather you in sunscreen every 2 hours like a rotisserie chicken. The Hawaii sun is powerful.
It is so powerful.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you're looking forward to?
We do have a spa retreat also in March, and then I'm going to Arizona the last week of March to host a community walk and go ski with my mom. We're gonna go to Telluride, and I've been wanting to go to Telluride for some time now, so I'm excited to see it finally. But we're driving from Phoenix to Telluride. I think the drive's like 8.5 hours.
Oh dear.
In a bus. So like we're used to that because we did the Utah ski trips growing up. I don't think my mom has ever done that.
Oh.
So it's going to be interesting for sure.
Bus trips are fun.
They're so fun. I'm going to be bringing some books with me.
Yay.
I'm going to be reading and knitting my little heart out.
I love that.
What are you looking forward to?
I guess along the lines of travel, I'll be going to Milwaukee in the end of March.
Very nice.
Not like Hawaii fun, but I will be visiting a fellow community college, and I'm a peer reviewer for an accreditation body for early childhood, so just peer reviewing their college, seeing if they're up to par with accreditation or not.
Very professional.
Yeah, so I'm doing that, and then the end of that week, my sister is coming, which very excited to have her, and we're actually going to have her on the podcast in April. I think that episode will air. So Abriana, I know this is news to you, but you're coming on our podcast. She's nuts, so we'll have a lot of fun.
Be prepared. Prepare yourself.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, other than that, we tried to get our cats to be friends. And Sarah's cats are brothers, and instead of fighting my cat Soup, they just ended up fighting each other. And Soup is just in her own like perfect little La
Yep.
La Land
Like
world.
having a great time, like playing with her little mouse toy. Meanwhile, my cats are like trying to beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, we graded them and we gave Soup an A plus because she's a good
She's a
girl.
little angel.
And we gave the boys a C minus.
Yeah, they did okay.
No.
They did
just
like subpar.
beat the crap out of each other and ate.
Yeah. So hope they don't do that while we leave tonight. I think they'll be fine. They look like they're a lot calmer now that we closed the door and took the baby gate away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. We had a baby gate and like opened the door, so they like couldn't even really actually touch each other.
Yeah.
But the boys still freaked out.
Yeah, they were not too happy. But I think it's good for them to get more comfortable with animals because Michael and I definitely want to get a dog. I definitely want to get a dog. I think he's on the fence about it.
This is news to me.
Well, once we have a yard.
What type of dog?
I don't know. We were thinking like an Australian Shepherd, but I know they have so much energy.
Big dog?
No, like a mini, a smaller one.
Girl.
Carmel's sniffing the door right now. Do you smell Soup?
Girl.
Either that or, hear me out, a long-haired dachshund.
Okay.
So cute.
Hear me out. I don't think you're a dog person.
I think dogs are so cute.
I think you like the idea of having a dog, but the actual work that gets put in with a big dog. Kona.
Okay.
Think of Kona.
I can't do a big dog.
And how much work that you just said you wanted an Australian
Well, they're
Shepherd.
smaller than Kona. Kona is like a medium size.
No, Australian Shepherds are medium sized. Shiba.
That's true. You know what would get me though is how much it rains here and like how often do you have to wash your dog?
Ugh.
Like the baths, the dog smell. That's why I'm like small dog I can do because you can just like toss them in the bath pretty easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, a big dog, I don't know.
I'll be your big dog.
You are a big dog.
Oh, woof.
I'm scared.
I'm scared too.
Blink twice.
Blink twice
if you need help.
We just blinked twice at each other.
I had something in my eye.
Oh. What is it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'm just blinking twice at you.
I'm just blinking repetitively. Well, today, are we good? Did you say everything?
Yeah, Milwaukee and my sister.
Milwaukee.
I'm so excited for my sister to come. It's during my spring break because I do work at a college, so I do get spring break. So Aubriana and I will be having hot girl spring breaks. Hot single girl spring breaks.
Do you have any plans of what you're going to do while she's here?
We finally want to visit Bruce Lee's grave.
Okay.
In Cap Hill and just walk around, probably hike a little. Okay. She may be getting knee surgery.
Okay.
Well, actually, like,
will be.
I don't know if that's a may. So she'll be recovering from that. So maybe actually not walking.
Okay.
But we'll see.
You should go to the aquarium.
Yes.
It's really
actually,
cool.
Yes. I wanted to go with my dad, but he got a little sleepy tired from all of the stuff we ended up doing. Yeah, just hang out with my sister, have a good time, eat good sandwiches.
Yeah.
I would say get homegrown, but they left.
Did they all leave? Even the Kirkland one?
I don't know if the Kirkland one did, but the Radman one is no longer.
The one in Queen Anne is no longer too.
So I assume the Kirkland one is no longer.
Well, if you're looking for a good sandwich, Zoe, the sandwich girl, she told me the best sandwich she's had is the eggplant parm from Salumi. In Pioneer Square.
To try that.
So
Aubriana's vegetarian, so that works out well.
That would work. Yeah, that would work.
Oh, but she doesn't like eggplant, I don't think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that won't work then.
No. All right, I'll hit up Zoe and see if we have any other sandwich recs.
Zoe Con, if you're listening to this, best sandwich recs. Well, today's episode, we're talking about, University Diaries, Part 2. If you haven't listened to Part 1, we talk all about our college experiences, making friends, not making friends.
Blacking out.
Isabella's wild party stage, my homebody, live at home with my mom stage. Kind of all different facets of college life we go over. So in this episode, we're talking about quote unquote studying abroad.
Yeah, because there's a lot of studying, wink wink, that happens abroad.
Yeah.
Studying the European male body.
Until you ran away from those guys in Siena. You say that and some
Oh
guy tries to
my
kiss her on the
gosh.
cheek, and she panics.
And there was that German guy. I
The
have
German guy.
so many stories.
I was not on this trip with the German guy, and this like memory, this isn't even a memory of my own, but it just like lives rent free in my head. Definitely when I'm like trying to like, I feel like when I'm trying to introduce you to other people when you're not there, I'll be like, yeah, she's kind of badass. Like, this is what she did to this German guy.
Stop.
So don't mess with her.
Stop. Okay, this episode's going to be really fun, actually. I'm thinking of all the stories already, and I'm like, oh, snap.
These are also like two very different stories, too, because yours was like a peace out, college, see you later, I'm going to Greece. And
Yeah.
mine was like, what am I doing in South Korea right now?
Yeah. So let's start off with, where did we go?
Okay. Do you want to start off on this one?
I can start off. So I went to Regis College. Remember that? I had a full ride there. My full ride covered study abroad. Super duper privileged in that sense. Super duper lucky. It was phenomenal.
She also deserved it and earned it and did a lot of hard work to get there. I saw an Instagram post. You know Alona Maher, the rugby player? I saw an interview with her, and the reporter asked her, like, do you ever get imposter syndrome? Have you seen this?
Yeah, and she says, no, I deserve it. Like, I deserve this.
Everything I have.
That lives in my head rent free.
Same. Whenever I think of imposter syndrome now, I'm like, you know what? No, I worked for this. I deserve this.
Yeah, and if you listen to this podcast, you have obviously worked something in your life, and you deserve it.
You deserve it.
Everything the good stuff.
Have.
The bad stuff.
The good stuff.
The bad stuff is just leading you to even better stuff.
Exactly.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I went to Greece. That was like my home, where the college was that I studied abroad at. It was in Agia Petitskevi, which is...
Can you say that again?
Agia Petitskevi.
Okay. That's the city, right?
Yeah. Okay. It's a city outside of Athens.
Okay.
And while I was in Greece, I also like traveled, because travel in Europe is so simple and cheap. So I went to Germany, I went to the UK, I went to, England specifically,
Italy,
France, Italy. There was one, Spain.
Okay. You went to Barcelona, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barcelona.
So I'll kind of like, okay, that's where I went. We'll go in chronological order with stories, but where did you go?
Okay, so I went to University of San Diego. Since I lived at home, study abroad was not covered. So I specifically didn't do it because it would have cost us like
an arm and a leg.
At like $15,000 to $20,000.
And a liver.
And a liver. And a spleen. And a toe.
And the right kidney.
Yes. So I didn't do the traditional like semester abroad. I instead did I think it was a 3-week workshop architecture competition in South Korea, specifically in Busan. And this was my first trip to Asia ever. I'd been to Europe a few times before, so like I had that under my belt. I was good. I was ready. Yeah, Asia's a whole different game.
I've never been. I want to go. I want to go.
I want to go back. Actually, I want to go back to South Korea, and I want to go to Japan.
I want to go to Japan
so badly.
Girls' Japan trip.
It'd be really fun.
Japan. If you're listening to this, and you want some social media people to, I don't know, Japan, take us to Japan. Is basically what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like Tokyo, if you want to reach out, and
Tokyo, visit Tokyo.
Well, if Tokyo, the city, wants to reach out to us
and support our podcast
and host us while we film an episode in Tokyo.
Oh, hi.
You know,
yeah.
I know a little Japanese.
We can get by.
I can say konnichiwa. And watashi wa no nami wa Isabella desu, which is hello. My name is Isabella. Desu.
I learned gosh, what did I learn from Michael and I? I said, Miku wa tabete masen, is we don't eat meat.
Oh.
And anata wa tofu wa arimasu ka, is something. Do you have tofu?
Okay.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Because that was a problem I had in South Korea. So all the problems I learned I had in South Korea, I'm trying to learn those phrases in Japanese so I can avoid those problems in the future.
Smart.
Yes.
Smart.
Motto. Smart.
We live and we learn.
We do.
Okay, so I guess I'll talk about my study abroad experience. Um,
Take it away.
okay, so I actually went from LAX to England at first, and my flight at LAX didn't exist. So, like, the study abroad people were in charge of everything, told me I couldn't check in for my flight until I was actually there in person. I go in person, and the airline people are like, your flight doesn't exist. We can put you on this flight 8 hours from now. Okay,
My dude.
cool, whatever. I'm 19. Like, what do I care? Um, so I had driven 2 hours to LAX to then wait 8 hours to then be on a, what, 11, 12 hour flight.
Yeah.
It was a lot of sitting and waiting and being in confined spaces. Got to England, and guess whose luggage got lost? The chick that's talking right now. Um, so my luggage disappeared. I showed up to my little like hotel that we were staying at. The study abroad people had a stay at. Met some people there. I went alone, like I didn't know anybody, but that's where I started making friends. Was in England. We like did the whole London tour. Got my luggage, and then we went to Greece to find our dorms. And I
Did that not
had
exist?
hmm?
Did that not exist?
The dorms existed.
Okay, good.
So it was actually an apartment building, and the apartments were like there were like 3 to 4 apartments. I don't know, like locations in each. Do you know, like apartment units? That's
Okay,
what I'm
okay.
trying to. Except for my floor. For some reason, my floor was the entire floor. It was like one unit. You go to the elevator, open the door, and like you enter the entire floor. So instead of having like a smaller unit with maybe 2 to 3 roommates, I had 11 roommates, 11 girls. We had 2 bathrooms.
It sounds like a lot. I don't think I could have handled that.
It's so funny because I thought, like, oh, 11 girls, like, I'll be friends with them, blah, blah, blah. Like, we'll all hang out, homies. None of us hung out with each other. We all hung out in completely separate groups, which honestly was probably for the best, considering there was 11 of us, 12 of us, including me, staying together in one room. And that's not to say they weren't, like, super awesome. They were. We just, like, had separate social circles. Um, but yeah, went to school in Greece, took some classes. Then I went to Germany, I think was first.
Berlin?
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt.
Um, Kind of sucked actually. Our Airbnb was a scam.
I remember that.
And like we got there at like 12 a.m., 1 a.m. So no food was open. Everything in Germany closes at like 6 p.m., at least in Frankfurt on that day. So like we had no food. I was trying to find something local. Everybody was like, let's get McDonald's. And I'm like, oh my God, whatever. We'll get McDonald's. At least they're open. And then yeah, our it was the Airbnb was a scam. Couldn't get in. There were cameras in it. It was weird. It was just a weird experience. And I can talk more about Airbnb in an Airbnb episode if we do one. um, but yeah, so Frankfurt was like kind of meh. We went to a botanical garden, and I don't know. I I don't know. It's also difficult traveling in like a large group. I'd say the most fun I had studying abroad was when I either traveled alone or traveled alone to go see Sarah.
I was going to say there's a right answer there. There's one right answer.
um, yeah, so then after Frankfurt, we did a lot of traveling within Greece too, like went to Meteora. We went to an orphanage and painted their walls. I don't remember where the orphanage was located, but that was fun to hang out with the kiddos, being a child development background person. um, and gosh, so yeah, then I think I went to Spain, Barcelona, which was fun. Met some cute guys.
Okay.
Just went to the beach, did a helicopter ride,
Okay.
It was fun. And then Paris. Paris, Italy was so fun, but Paris was my favorite.
Really?
People in Paris, or people say that like Parisians are very mean. I don't know. I don't know if it's off season or because I was like traveling by myself or maybe because I spoke a little bit of French.
Okay.
But like immediately accepted into the community. I was house sitting actually for one of my mom's friends.
Okay.
So I had the entire like little apartment to myself, and it was, I don't remember, like the 14th district or something like that.
Okay. Yeah,
So it was what, 30 minutes from the Eiffel Tower walking.
Okay. Not
So
bad.
I was right by the Eiffel Tower. I was right by the Arc de Triomphe. Triumph.
You
I
have to say these in your best French accent, actually.
The Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe, Versailles.
You're telling me that people didn't look at you crazy when you were in.
No. So I memorized the most important phrase, or like to know, and it's un pan de chocolat. Por favor. Oh, s'il vous plaît. I just said por favor. So un pan de chocolat, s'il vous plaît. Which means, what does that mean, Sarah?
A chocolate croissant, please.
Yep, that's all I needed to know. That's how I got around.
You say, I wonder if it's the same in like French culture where you like don't say like hello. You say like good day.
You say bonjour.
Bonjour. What's the? Because in Italian you don't say like ciao. If you walk up to someone, don't say ciao. You say buongiorno.
Yeah.
But in French, is it like that?
It's bonjour.
Bonjour. But
yeah.
Wait, what's hello then?
Hola.
Like hola.
In Spanish.
No, in French.
Oh. I don't know.
Do they have just hello?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Hola.
I'm not a French expert.
Je m'appelle Sara. Oui, s'il vous plaît.
But yeah, Paris was so much fun. Went to Versailles by myself. And like all of this, I spent a week in Paris by myself. And I don't come at me, but I would eat at Chipotle a lot because I was vegetarian at the time. So like Chipotle was one of the only places with vegetarian options. And I'm getting really close with the person who worked at Chipotle. And he had me go behind the counter and like wrap my own burrito. It was really cool.
What? Is that allowed?
No. It's Paris. Who cares?
Was he cute?
He was.
Okay. Maybe that was his way of saying, I think you're cute. Come wrap your own burrito.
But yeah, that was super fun. The only thing that wasn't fun was the rats in the apartment, but that's like a very common Paris thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there was Italy. Woo!
That was an adventure.
That was so fun. So it was my spring break in like that Athens college, the Gia college. So I went to Italy, and guess who met me there?
Moi.
And I'm gonna let you take it away because I've been talking a lot.
Let's do a brief pause so we can hear if you can hear the dryer or the cat in the background. Okay, I think we're good.
Yeah, we're fine.
We're trying to debate getting new microphones for this podcast, and I think between all the technical difficulties we're having with these current microphones, I think we need to upgrade.
Yeah, well, definitely. I want to get like a little audio plug-in system that we then plug into.
Okay.
It won't be wireless anymore, but
okay.
I mean,
that's okay.
The wire we'll have better luck with it.
Yes, so it doesn't keep shutting off on us in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I if you listened to the last episode, broke up with my college ex-boyfriend, had a crisis, bought a ticket to Europe,
to Italy to go see me.
Yes, the tickets were like $400.
That's
round
wild.
trip. So to my defense, it was just like a trip flying to New York, you know.
But
or
she
Hawaii.
like got to spend time in Italy with her best friend.
So I flew out for a week from my own spring break, and this was actually just when I started to talk to Michael. It was like the week before this, which that's an important detail. We'll get to that. I fly myself from LAX, so I now have to I think I took the Flixbus actually from Old Town to LA, or no, Old Town to Union Station. Then I had to take the flyaway from Union Station to LAX. And the flyaway is like a separate bus. Super annoying. But yeah, so I fly over to Italy, and I found this really cute Airbnb to stay at. And we've actually stayed at this Airbnb a few times since because it's so cute.
So cute.
But the lady who owns it, her name is Piera, and she is like mom vibes. Like she just wants to take care of you and get to know you.
And like makes you a little breakfast and
so
cafecitos
sweet.
and
so
it just
sweet. But I think I got there a day before you because she wanted to like take me on a tour around Rome. We met in Rome, by the way. So she took me on a tour, and she wanted me to get the most out of my experience. So she was like talking to me only in Italian, and I was like kind of confident, kind of not confident at this point. Definitely learned a lot though. But that night is when Isabella was getting in, and her place was a little bit hard to find.
Yeah.
And I think I told you to get off at one stop, and I think you couldn't see it because it was dark outside or something, and you kept going. So her and I were walking around Rome at like 11 p.m. on our own on like a Wednesday night.
Yup.
19-year-old, no big deal. But yeah, so you flew over from Greece, I flew over from LA, and we basically just spent the week together. And we went to the Vatican, we went to the Spanish Steps, the Trevi Fountain, just like all the standard Rome things.
Yeah, the Colosseum.
Colosseum.
The Leaning Tower thingy wajiggy.
No, we didn't go to Pisa.
Oh, never mind. We went to Siena.
We did go to Siena. So we were in Rome for like 3 days, I think, and then we took a bus one of the days from Rome to Siena. It was like a 3-hour bus ride, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Siena was cool.
We saw a shrunken head.
We saw a shrunken head of St. Catherine. We like walked into a church, and I was like, I wonder if there's any of those like incorruptible saints in here. And if you don't know what that is, go search it up. If you don't mind, like, I don't know. I don't get freaked out by dead bodies. I think that's just like growing up in an Italian Catholic family. We do open casket funerals, so I feel like I've seen a lot of dead bodies. Like, it's a custom to like go over and like kiss the forehead of your deceased loved one. And when I told Michael this, he was like, "What?
Yeah.
I'm like, is this not normal? Is this not what people do?"
Maybe not.
So like, I think incorruptible saints are so cool. They're basically like saints who have been canonized into like the Catholic Church, who their bodies have not decomposed.
It's so wild. It's actually such a wild kind of wormhole to go down.
Yeah, it's really cool. But we walked into this church in, I think it's like the biggest church in Siena, and St. Catherine's head was just chilling up there.
Yeah.
Not decomposed, just there. And she died in what, like the 1400s?
Yeah,
just something like that.
Just there.
So yeah, that was a surprise. But the entire town of Siena, we learned, is like built in a radial system structure. So there's like the center of town where the main piazza is, and that big tower, which I climbed to the top of the tower. It was like 20 euro, and literally thought I was having a heart attack at the top of it because it was so many stairs. Like, I genuinely didn't even enjoy the view because I was having heart palpitations. And it turns out it's a genetic thing. My cardio is not bad. It's a genetic thing. So one of the day, or that day, we were only there in Siena for one day, but that day we got gelato, and we were sitting in the main piazza, and we were just hanging out, vibing. And this, was it a Ferrari? It was a police car, but it was like a Ferrari or something. It was a Lamborghini. A Lamborghini police car like pulls up, and we're just like, oh my gosh, like, where are we?
Just casually.
Yeah.
A Lamborghini is so wild.
It was, yeah. So we are sitting there, and these two boys come over. So keep in mind, both of us are not in relationships at this point.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we're both single. Weren't really mingling though. I wasn't really mingling. Well, I was mingling with Michael, but
I was mingling with European men.
True. So we're sitting there, and these two boys come over, and only spoke Italian. So I was like having a conversation with them, and Isabella's like getting a little sweaty. She's like,
I'm getting nervous,
a little nervy, a little ick,
weird vibes, and their faces gave me the ick.
They were just like average Italian guys.
They just looked prepubescent.
They looked a little young, but they were probably like 18, 17. They're probably like a year younger.
We're 19.
We're 19.
That's not okay.
I would say not okay on our end. Talking to underage. Well, in Italy, underage is like 14.
But also, we didn't know their age.
We did not know their age. But I was just talking to them, and like, things were fine. Like, they just, I mean, obviously, they were hitting on two beautiful American girls. But one of them like came over and like tried to kiss you on the cheek.
Yeah, like actually kissed me on the cheek, and I was like, whoa, personal space, Betty boy. And I got severely uncomfortable. And that's when I was like, oh, my dad's calling. And I made up this whole like story about like, oh, you're in the hospital, but you need me to go right now? Okay, so we need to go to the airport, Sarah.
And I'm trying to like translate of like, thanks, her dad's in the hospital, gotta go, see ya. And so we're like, she is running through Siena thinking these boys are following.
Yeah, so then I go into a store and hide.
Yeah, and I was just kind of confused, but also
I was on high alert.
You were on high alert.
It just gave me such a bad feeling.
Yeah, yeah. So those boys have a place in our hearts for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so we did that, went back to Rome and kind of just it was such a fun trip.
It really was. And then in Rome, we went to the Vatican on Easter Sunday, which we did not realize was Easter
Yeah,
Sunday. Like,
yeah.
we literally were just like, yeah, we'll go to the Vatican this day. It'll be perfect. We show up. We're like, wow, there's so many people. I wonder why there's so many people.
Yeah.
Guess who's out there chilling? Not even in his like little enclosed
Mobile.
whatever.
It was the Papa.
It was
The
Papa,
Papa.
the Pope.
Pope.
The Pope
Yeah. We just walked up and he was like 5 feet away from us and we just look at each other and we're like, what?
yeah, and everybody's like yelling, Papa, Papa,
And like putting their hands out with their rosaries like tied to their hand and we're just like dying laughing.
We're like, what is happening? And then I start screaming Papa, because why not, you know?
So we're all just screaming Papa.
It was just so wild. And this is Pope Francis.
Yes.
So this was like right after Pope Francis
Was elected Pope.
yeah.
What's the word? Ordained?
Ordained?
And doctor and Papa. It was Papa.
I don't
Papa
know.
was Papa.
Yeah. This was like right after Papa was Papa. Papa was Papa. And our previous Pope did like would be enclosed. So like did not have his body out in the open.
Out in the public.
Like would be enclosed in bulletproof whatever. Where Pope Francis is a man of the people, my Argentinian queen.
My queen.
my
Papa, my queen.
Papa Francis, my Argentinian queen. Just out and about, right? No bulletproof, just man of the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was so cool and so unexpected.
Yeah, that was definitely a highlight. And I would say like at this point, neither of us were like super religious. We were just like, what are the odds that this would have happened?
Yeah.
And we had no idea.
We literally like this was not planned whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just wild. Yeah, okay. So then Italy, going back to Greece. I'm going to talk about Greece a little bit. I partied a lot. Like definitely had my Coyote Ugly moments. There was this one bar that was walking distance from the dorms, apartments, whatever you want to call them.
Was this the Hillary Duff bar?
Oh no. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and everything in between. Oh my gosh. My birthday. I turned 20 while I was in Greece. And we were like, yeah, let's go out to the bars. Let's go out to Athens, right? We go out to Athens. We're at this bar. It's called Lohan's. Why is it called Lohan's? Because it's Lindsay Lohan's bar.
Lindsay Lohan, not Hillary.
And that is when Lindsay Lohan was in her phase, right? The bleach blonde, definitely an addict, like just unwell phase. And it was so cool. We got like a little corner service thing where they brought drinks out and we got couches and like, oh my gosh, dance the night away. She was DJing.
She was DJing?
Yes.
Oh, I missed that entire part of this.
Like with her like blonde hair all raggedy and like she was unwell.
Okay.
She
yes, queen. Not Pope. Not the Pope.
But that was insane. That was an insane birthday. Like I really don't think anything can top that. But yeah, did that. What else? There were bars walking distance from where I was staying. So we had like Coyote Ugly moments where we would just constantly go to the bars and dance on the like bar table just the entire night. It was so fun. Definitely, oh, mother, stop listening. Definitely went home with a couple of guys. There was this one couch guy. I know him as, don't know his name. Literally we were making out, like just making out, and he like, you know, completed just from making out.
Really?
And then went to bed.
Really?
It was weird.
Okay.
It was really weird.
That is weird.
It was a bizarre moment in my life.
You're like, what do I do with this information?
Okay. And then there was German guy. What did I say to German guy, Sarah?
You said that's not how we do things in America, and you showered in his shower, used up his expensive Greek water and then left.
Yes. Yep. So we had a nice night and he asked me to spend the night and I was like, no, no, no. So then I started roaming the streets of Greece at 4 a.m. And Sarah then asked me how I'm here to tell the
she's still
story.
here. Yeah.
The answer is I don't know. Like
Yeah,
I
I'm a little concerned.
genuinely made such horrendous decisions in my younger years, and I don't know how I'm alive to tell the tale. I'm gonna be honest.
Like when you were in Greece, I would wake up in the morning and be like, huh, wonder what Isabella's up to today.
The answer is dancing on bars
with Lindsay Lohan
and telling German men that I don't want to cuddle with them, but I will use them and then leave.
See ya.
Because that's how we do it in America, baby.
Do we? I have never done that. We definitely had very different 20s. Like we spent our younger 20s doing very different things.
Yeah, we did. Like very, very different things.
But
yay. Yeah, that was basically my Greece trip. Oh, and I wanted to say, did I say this? I don't remember. That I was so scared to go to a restaurant alone a couple episodes ago.
Oh yeah.
I literally went to Paris a week by myself. Like, who am I? What did I become? And why am I such a scaredy cat now?
Your frontal cortex, whatever, is developed.
My prefrontal cortex. Yeah. It definitely was underdeveloped in my early 20s because I was absolutely unhinged. I would like to say that I still am. However, I no longer dance on bars.
This is true. I can confirm this.
I kind of would if there were opportunity to, though.
Yeah, I would too. That would sound fun.
Yeah.
I really haven't let loose in a long time.
I love letting loose.
Wait, that's not true. Oh, Idaho. I had a Cutwater mango margarita in Idaho.
A single Cutwater?
A single Cutwater.
Oh,
and
so
I was
loose.
on the floor.
Oh my gosh. Okay, side note, but when we had our launch party, nobody was drinking alcohol. I was like,
did they know it was there?
Huh?
Did they know it was there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was just me and my other friend drinking alcohol, and we were like, oh, are we alcoholics? I guess so.
Were you drunk? Did you get drunk at all last night?
No.
Oh, okay.
I had one espresso martini.
Okay.
Like, that is it.
Yeah, I don't think I drank either. But I was drinking my lemon elderflower soda from Trader Joe's, so.
Okay. Take it away with soul. Sorry.
Okay. We're trying to, Michael and I are supposed to go look at some houses tonight. So we're trying to wrap this up before Michael gets here, or else he's going to be like, you're not ready. I gave you a time to be ready. And yeah, so we're trying to avoid that because I love my marriage. Essentially, to take it off with South Korea. So this was a 3-week architecture competition / workshop in Busan, which is sometimes spelled with a P, sometimes spelled with a B. I'm not really sure which one is correct.
Okay, that's like ceviche. Sometimes it's spelled with a V and sometimes it's spelled with a B.
Interesting. Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know.
I think this might be like a situation where it's like in Italian it's Roma, but in English it's Rome.
Oh.
So like I think one of the ways is Korean and the other way is Americanized. So if you know what the correct answer is, let me know.
Yeah, drop it in our DMs.
Yes. But we essentially, I didn't know anyone who was going on this trip. And this was a situation where since we were in San Diego, we had to get to LA. So you get to LA by driving there, or you take the Flixbus, or you take the Amtrak. So this time I was taking the Flixbus with another girl who is now one of my greatest friends from this trip, but we had never met before. So my mom and I were in the kitchen making hummus and margaritas. Have you heard this story?
No.
We were making hummus and margaritas, just having a good old time. And my mom was like, you excited for your trip to Korea tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, it'll be super fun. And I was like, you know what? Let me just like check my boarding pass just to make sure everything's good. And I look at it and I'm like, oh, Mom, my flight leaves tonight.
Oh my gosh. You're kidding.
So I was like, oh my God, I'm not packed. I need to like get on the Flixbus. My Flixbus leaves in an hour.
The way that I would piss my pants.
Yeah, it was a moment of panic. So I threw things in a backpack And my mom's like, okay, we'll take some margaritas with you and hummus with you. So she sends me on the Flixbus with like a flask of margaritas and hummus.
That is such a Stacy move.
It really is. And so I get on the bus and I meet Amelia, who was the girl in my architecture program who I never knew before this. And I was like, hi, I'm Sarah. I didn't know this was today. Do you want a margarita? So we take the Flixbus 3 hours up to Union Station. Then we take the flyaway. And then we get to LAX. And it was the same situation. They couldn't find our flight. Yeah, they told us it was on Air Korea or something like that. It was actually a British Airways, I think. It was very random. So we get on the flight, fly over there, incredibly long flight. And at this point, Michael and I had been dating for 5 or 6 months, I think. And so we had a layover in Beijing. And I was like calling Michael and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know we got to our layover. And I'm like, the weirdest thing, we can't use, like, Instagram's not working here. Like, I can't check my feed. And he's like, Sarah, Instagram's banned in China. I'm like, oh.
That's so wild.
He's like, yeah, just like be careful what you're searching. I'm like, okay. Yeah, that was interesting. But then we flew to South Korea and we were in Seoul for 3 days. So Amelia and I stood in a hostel and we planned to just like venture around the city on our own before getting to Busan and then meeting everyone else for the competition. So we checked out Seoul and it was honestly really cool. I was pretty vegan at that point, so I thought, let me just preface by saying I thought more people would speak English on this trip. And this is not like me being an ignorant American saying this. I genuinely love learning languages. And had I known that English was not spoken very widely there, I would have learned some, like, beyond basic, like thank you, hello, and water and tofu. Like, I would have learned more things. I just assumed we're going to some pretty big cities, like people would know it because that's at least what I've experienced in Europe. So we get to Seoul and there's not a lot of English. I also was very, very, very unprepared for not being able to read anything. So I want to say that the Google Translate app worked where you hover it over text and it translates it for you. Didn't do shite.
Oh no.
Like, I was trying to translate like a cup of noodles and it was telling me like boy jumped shovel plow. And I'm like, what?
Maybe that's what the cup of noodles said.
Maybe. So yeah, that was that. Unknowingly ate a lot of meat, a lot of cold anchovy soup with noodles. It got to so then Amelia and I like did our tour thing around Seoul. We went to Gangnam, the district. We went to the Coex Mall, which was super cool. Like Gangnam style. Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, it was cool.
The
they had a little like statue with the little hand movement from Gangnam style. So I think I took a picture in front of it. What we also were very unprepared for is at the time my hair was very, very blonde. And Amelia is like 5'10", she's tall, 5'11". I think she's taller than you is.
Tall queen.
She's a tall queen. So between me having super blonde hair and her being super tall, people were sending their kids up next to us to come take pictures. And we were not prepared for that. And it got to a point where it was like wild at first. And then we kind of got tired of it by like 3 weeks later. But yeah, Amelia was like, honestly, we should go to the Coex Mall and buy like Disney princess costumes and go stand in this like one of the like general central squares of town and just like charge people for pictures.
That would be.
And I was like, why didn't we do this? We could have made so much money off of this.
That would be so baller.
I know. So then when we needed to get to Busan for the workshop, we take a bus there. And I think it took like 5-6 hours. I don't really remember. But we get there and the college where we were staying was locked and we couldn't get in to put our bags down.
Oh no.
So we had to call, Busan, no one spoke English. Okay. We were screwed. Finally, one of like the students who volunteers or works there showed up and we were like, she did not speak English. So we were literally having a Google Translate fight with this girl. And she was like getting really angry at us. You guys are here late, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, we didn't know. And Amelia's like, okay, Sarah, like type that in. We're like typing and translating and fighting. It was so bizarre. But finally we put our stuff in and I was rooming with a girl from, I think, Tianjin University in China.
Oh, cool.
Spoke very little English. So we were trying to navigate. She also didn't speak Korean. Not that she should because she's Chinese. But we're trying to navigate like this room. The air conditioning was in Korean, the bidet was in Korean, the light switches were in Korean. We're like, what do we do? It was so flippin' hot. We couldn't figure out how to turn the AC on. Yeah. So we show up the next day for our architecture competition workshop thing, and we're supposed to redesign the waterfront district of Yongdo and then present it to the mayor of the city at the end of the week.
That's cool.
And they put us, it was cool. It was very stressful though. They put us in these groups of 3. And every single person in the group needs to be from a different country. So it sounds fun, right? Lots of different perspectives. No shared common language. Like no common language was shared. So in our small group, it was me, my roommate from China, and then a girl from Busan as well. So she actually went to that university that we were staying at. And our mentor was my professor from university, and he speaks so quickly. He has these crazy ideas and he speaks so quickly. And the way he was like presenting information to me, I had to like scribe everything, write it down, and then translate it into Korean and then into Chinese. And then they would have to like get their questions back to me in English and translate them. And we all use different CAD software, and it was a headache. So the fact that we even like designed and put together anything in the span of a week was impressive. And the last night, I think we stood up until like 5 in the morning, like, how are we going to do things in AutoCAD and Rhino and Revit and SketchUp, like exporting, importing, all these things. So it was stressful. So we did the competition. We didn't win. I think it was like some group who had like an Italian person, and I don't know, man. Someone else won it, but it was fine. We were there for the vibes.
Yeah.
But what was also difficult about that trip too is I was vegan. That made it hard enough. Amelia can't eat spicy foods, so we were both screwed. So our stomachs were a mess the entire time.
Man, girls who have stomach issues together, stay together.
Amen. And it was also, I am not from a place where there's humidity, and this was the hottest heat I have ever felt.
Ooh.
There were so many mosquitoes, and I'm also very, very, very allergic to mosquitoes, and the bites were literally getting so bad that they were welting. And they were the size of $50 at least. And I was trying to tell like the counselors, I'm like, I need to go to a pharmacy. I am going to get an infection. Like, I need help.
Gosh.
No one spoke English. We couldn't get this translated through. I'm like literally dumping drinking alcohol on my mosquito welts to try to not die. So that was a thing. So I would definitely prepare for that next time.
Yeah.
I think the best part of this trip though was Amelia and I paid a little bit. I think it was like $300 extra to do a week-long countryside South Korean tour.
Fun.
Yeah, so we were in a bus for like a week, and we saw pretty much the entire country of South Korea. But the kicker is that we were the only non-Chinese girls there. Nice. When I say only non-Chinese, I mean like these girls are from China, do not speak English, and our hosts were South Korean, didn't speak English either. So yeah, we were the dumb Americans, and we were treated like the dumb Americans. It was such a bonding experience. We were just laughing the entire time, and it got us in trouble a few times because one of the instances I'll back up. We started in Busan, went to Andong, and then another city called Daegu, which we got kicked out of a club because we were American and you had to be South Korean to be in the club.
Really?
Which makes sense though, because Daegu's like an American military town. And I think a lot of like the military guys go in to like the South Korean clubs, and I don't know, probably just bad vibes, and they just want like a South Korean club only.
Okay.
But we didn't know that was the thing, and so we showed up and they're like, nope, American can't, like, you can't be in here because you're American.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that we're like, what?
Do you have to like show them your passport? Like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And they kicked us out. Also couldn't find vegan food there. We went to Paju City, which was actually kind of cool. I think it's like the most like bookstores or something in South Korea. They also told us, it was on our way back to Seoul, they told us we were going to go see a traditional puppet show. We end up at the demilitarized zone, the border of North Korea. Oh, and I was like, ma'am, this doesn't look like a traditional puppet show to me. There's there's like signs for like a bomb shelter. And
Gosh.
Amelia and I look at each other and we're like, what?
Were you not horrified?
Well, I texted my mom and I was like, hey, just letting you know, we're at the border of North Korea. If you don't want to hear from me.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Yeah, but it was kind of wild. Like you walk in and there's these projectors that like give you this whole like history lesson of the DMZ. And then you can even look into binoculars and see over the border into North Korea. And it looked like it was wild. It was like arid and there was like 3 houses that were like completely falling apart and like someone was riding a bike and it's like, whoa. It was cool, but also kind of spooky.
You've seen North Korea?
I've seen North Korea. Yeah. And I thought I was going to see a traditional South Korean puppet show.
I mean, I guess North Korea is the biggest puppet show.
Dude, yeah.
You know, if you really think about it.
It was weird. And they also took us to this town.
Like the government's just pulling the straight. Sorry, I'm just on this puppet show.
The North Korean like TikToks were so wild. Like where it's a concert and like everyone's like smiling and laughing and it says in like the comments like if you don't, like the government's gonna take you. Anyways, they took us to this other town and I can't remember the name of it, but it did not seem like an actual town. Like they were trying to like basically, we think it was some sort of like weird propaganda thing. They were trying to convince us that like millions of people lived in a super futuristic town and like everyone was happy and like everyone was living their best lives and like
very utopia vibes.
It was very utopia.
Interesting.
But like it had this like historical walkthrough. It wasn't actually a historical like town. It was a brand new town. And they had this like walkthrough center you can go through and like see how all the sewage like circulates and like all like the pads and all the different housing things. I don't know, like it felt like a Disneyland exhibit. It was so bizarre. And I just remember Amelia and I looking at each other being like, what is this?
That gives like Black Mirror
vibes. It felt like Black Mirror episode.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, very, very, very interesting. But where I was going with the story before, weren't you just telling me, I'm looking at Iz right now, weren't you just telling me that a listener said we should get diagnosed for ADHD?
Yes.
Literally feel like that right now because I mentioned the story. It took a 10-minute segue and now I'm back at that story. They took us to, and I'll kind of wrap this up here because this is like one of my favorite memories. I feel like I'm complaining about South Korea. Looking back, it was a very transformative experience. Definitely would go back. I would learn some Korean and maybe be a bit less like vegan. I would eat a bit more things, I think, because it was really hard.
Drink.
But yes, my last story about South Korea is they took us to this town that, not even town, a village that was nestled in the mountains. And we got to stay in a like a 1-room apartment that had paper walls. So it was like a very traditional style hotel. And we get there and this was the part that we just lost our minds. It was 100 degrees that day. I was covered in mosquito bites. I couldn't even move my legs because they were so swollen. And we go into this hotel and we walk into the room. It wasn't even a hotel. It was on the ground floor. Walk into the room and the tour guides bring over the owner and they're like, you need to teach these girls how to use the television.
What?
And we're like, excuse me? And they're like, yeah, like they haven't seen a television like this before, so you need to teach them how to use it.
Okay.
And you need to teach them how to like unroll their mattress on the floor.
Oh.
And we're like, I think we can just watch like the other girl do it. And I think we've used a TV before. And then they start like fighting about it. And everyone's like drenched in sweat because it was so hot. And Amelia and I were looking at each other and start dying of laughter. Like we just hit that point where we're like, WTF is happening right now.
My patience could never. I get way too irritated in a hot, humid environment.
It was hilarious. So her and I dying, like uncontrollable, like belly laughter for like 30 minutes. And we actually got in trouble because apparently we were being very disrespectful because the guy was trying to teach us how to use the television and we would start laughing. So yeah, that didn't go over well. So that situation got de-escalated. The tour guide left, the hotel owner went back to his room, and Amelia and I were sitting there and we're like, screw this, we're not leaving this room tonight. We're sitting there and we hear, And we're like, what? And this bug that is like 8 inches long plasters itself to the paper door. And we look at each other and we're like, well, guess we're really not leaving tonight.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then the tour guide came back, got mad at us because there was like a cultural festival we had to go out to. And we were like, okay, like let's go to this field and go to the cultural festival. So we're sitting out there. It was quite beautiful. We were like, it was just the countryside. And there was this woman who was dressed in like traditional Korean clothes, and she was playing an instrument outside, and it was lovely. It was fantastic.
Why does that give like Feyre and Tamlin?
It really felt like that.
What was their?
Oh, Calamai. Yeah, it felt like that.
Yeah.
And I just remember we were in the middle of a field. There was this huge light like illuminating the area we were in.
And it was the moon.
Dude, no. There were like 5,000 bugs swarming at this light. And I look at Amelia, I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, I am in so much pain as it is. I can't do it. So yeah, we mosey our way back to the room, go to sleep, wake up in the morning, and there's little cute frogs everywhere. But what I will say about this countryside place we were in is it was right next to all these rice fields or rice paddies. And this was the best smell I've ever smelled in my life.
Ooh.
Like waking up at this place was gorgeous.
Fun.
Yeah. So that was kind of, I think that encapsulates my trip to South Korea. Very transformative, I will say. I don't want to sound like I've just been like hating on South Korea because I'm not. This was just a very like transformative experience for me.
Yeah.
Going to Asia for the very first time. And I thought I was prepared and I really was not.
Europe was a party.
Europe was a party. Yeah.
Europe was a party.
Yeah.
If you expect McDonald's though, just don't go. I just like I couldn't when I travel with groups and they're like, let's get McDonald's.
Yeah, it's like you're in Europe.
Let's go to a random Italian restaurant, which we actually did in Germany, and get free limoncello shots.
Yeah,
like that is what you do.
Yeah. Oh, we drink so much soju though. In South Korea, nice. Dude, the soju there, so good.
Nice,
so good. It really helps with mosquito bites. But I guess my advice is, if you haven't been to Asia before, definitely go. Definitely go. It's an amazing place. Just if you're going somewhere where they don't speak English or like a lot of English, 100% learn some phrases, words, especially if you have dietary restrictions.
Yeah.
But I think that's all I have to say about that. That was my study abroad experience.
Well, sounds like we both had very transformative experiences. I remember coming back from Greece and my aunt pulled me aside and was like, I feel like you became a woman. Oh. She was really drunk, but like, she was like, I feel like you became a woman while you were in Greece. And like, I view you as an adult now, which was like, gosh, kind of cool. Lives in my head rent free.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I get that though. Like, I think that trip definitely changed you.
Did it?
In like the very best of ways, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say I gained a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Doing that. Definitely recommend, like, if you're teetering between doing it and not doing it, literally just do it.
Definitely do it, especially if you're already paying for room and board in college. And you don't have to cover, like, it's already something you're paying for, 100% do it.
Yeah.
And if you're living at home, like I was, maybe try and find a really short, like, I don't know, summer experience.
Like an abroad internship or something.
Yeah.
Internship abroad. Spanished that.
Abroad internship. See, I have a reel I need to show you about that.
Are you gonna pebble me?
I am. No, I already pebbled you yesterday.
I know.
Wait, okay, really quick aside, because Michael shared his ETA with me and he's coming home soon.
Okay.
I asked Iz yesterday, I'm like, hey, I have a lot going on today. I have to clean for the launch party. Like, do you think you have time to go pick up the cake?
I read that and I was like, you know what? I can try. However, I actually have I don't mean actually.
You want to finish that? You want to finish that sentence and fight me like my cats were fighting each other?
Okay. I have a job where I actually have to go like in person to the job. I don't work remotely. Okay. It is also in Tacoma. And I do not live in Tacoma. I live in Redmond. So I commute a very long time. And I also that day had to commute from Tacoma to Central Seattle College to sign some I-9 stuff and then to Fremont. So like I already had like my entire day of work. I had to do this additional step and get the cake by 4 p.m. I was like, I don't know if I'll have time, but I can definitely try.
The way you don't say no, you just say, I can try. I'm like, girl, if you just say no, if you can't do it.
Well, like I could, here's the thing. I would have made it in time. I just was unsure if I was going to make it in time.
Okay.
But yeah, I was like, oh great. Another thing to do.
I have to do. But what was funny about this whole thing is after I stressed out about that, literally an hour later, I'm like, let me just eat some lunch. I'll go on Instagram Reels for like 10 minutes. I was on there for like an hour. I'm like sending this girl Reels for an hour long straight. Literally, and she's like, screw you. Go pick up the cake.
I keep getting these notifications. And I'm like, oh my God. Did you not have a busy day today? Are you not working?
I did. I just got burnt out.
Okay.
I cleaned all day from parties.
Okay, you got to eat lunch. I did not eat lunch because I had to leave early to go to this launch party. Like, and you're telling me to pick up the cake. Okay, we obviously need couples therapy.
This is our therapy.
This is our couples therapy.
You are our therapist. Anywho, our mic cut out again, so I think we're just gonna end it here.
I'm so done with the mic.
Yeah, maybe we'll have new mics by the next episode.
Maybe, probably. Actually, I'm gonna get a whole setup because I think
working.
We've proven that
we've outgrown this.
We've outgrown this. 6 episodes in,
we are outgrown.
I also I think we've proven that we're committed to this.
I think so. This has been pretty fun. We've gotten some good feedback.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening. We love you.
Yeah.
Go follow us on Instagram. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Give us some stars.
Travel, be wanderlust.
Yes.
Ooh, be hot, be wanderlust.
Be beautiful. Be beautiful.
Be beautiful. Like be you.
Yeah. Yeah. Be from
OLP. Yeah. Cringe.
Well, anyways, we love you. Thanks for listening. Go find yourself and quote unquote study abroad.
Heck yeah.
May everyone love togetherness.
Besos.